remember when we were strong. Back in the days before King Tenebrae and his royal guard, and the people of Amosran took up their own arms for fun and profit. Before all that, there was just us, the Viridian Outriders. We kept the roads and trails safe and secure, with homes and forts scattered about and locales civilized and not. Time passed, and we have been replaced. And yet, I hear the rumblings and murmurs of the roads being less safe than they had been. Monsters sniffing around in smaller towns and magic acting oddly. Who knows? Maybe we'll be needed again. Hello, and welcome back to Another Path. My name is Chase, and I remain your GM. Today, our Outriders join Brother Lobizon, played by Leeman Kessler, as they discuss what is to come and descend into the lost city below. Thank you to our backers, San, Carlin, and JJ, for their support. If you like what you hear, consider donating to us at patreon.com/ghostlightmedia, and maybe try checking out some of the other shows on the network. But with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy your trip down another path.
Oh no. Ryan alleged to have a bit, and now I'm afraid.
Oh.
Hello?
God damn it.
Hello?
We're doing this again.
We're doing this again.
It's a big castle. I can't... Oh, this is a big room.
Chase, I need reverb on this.
I got you. I'm not happy about it, but I'll put it on there.
The door squeaks a lot, too.
You're not getting Foley out of me.
I'll do the Foley.
I'm getting Foley up here. The door squeaks a lot, too.
Oh, there's a stranger walking outside, and now they're eating carrots.
Hello? Griff? Why'd you get out?
Sorry, I'm eating carrots. What's up?
Why'd you get out the good silverware?
Well, I figured, it's been a while since we've had Justin in Ohio, so, he should be here by now. I'm hoping, he made it on time, that the, everything was good through the forest and everything like that. I left him a map.
Gotcha. All right, well, let me just walk over this squeaky floor.
Anyone eat these solo cups? I'm just going to start crunching them in my hands. If not, I'm just going to be sitting here crunching them. Don't mind me.
Ryan, I'm sorry. I swear I swept the castle. I did not know we had another guest.
This is the man they call Lee?
No one calls me Lee. That's how I know when there's telemarketers on the line.
The man they call Lee is here with us. Justin, come inside.
Justin.
Oh.
You made it.
What's up?
Hey,
What's going on?
Hey, have you met? Oh, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. That's not man they called Lee. That's Leeman.
It is. Hi.
I guess we need to get Chase in here somehow. Oh, there he is.
I've been here the whole time.
There it is.
Chase was in the ceiling.
Well, yeah, I sit up here. I lurk. How else do you think the arms of Grendel get up here all the time?
Oh.
You can't just huck them up here. Somebody has to be up here to place them. And fortunately, he keeps growing them back.
There's a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of movement. Thankfully, we got that belt that increased your dex, so...
Mm-hmm.
I thought you just got into the ceiling tiles like a cat.
No, that's in the other room. We do have the drop ceiling. I do like to hang out up there because it is dark and contained and I feel nice and safe there. But no, I like to perch and I'm not going to apologize for it.
We are gathered here this day to get through this thing we call a fish chili fry.
Oh, We've endured yet another cursed intro to this podcast to welcome our wonderful friend Leeman to the show. Hi, Leeman.
Hi. I'm always happy to help with the cursing.
Let's say, do you know what you've signed up for?
No, not at all, but that's okay. I have children and I'm in politics, so obviously I make poor choices.
It's okay. I signed up for it and I have no children or politics, so
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, but you are a professional actor, so that already puts, a large question mark over many of your personal choices.
I mean, I'm one walking question mark. I'm almost the Riddler if I can find the right bowler hat. So,
Oh my God, yes.
Hey, Chase, can you rewrite this game right now so that we can get the Riddler in here?
I mean, I got my character sheet and I got an eraser, so just give me a few minutes to look up some Frank Gorshin clips on YouTube. And
here's the thing. It would be neither elegant nor contiguous with anything else that we've done thus far, but I could do it.
I mean, we just had a Five Nights at Freddy's arc. We don't need any more whimsical terror.
No, just the regular kind of terror that I usually serve up.
Or we do. The Riddler has set a bomb.
Don't canonize bombs. You have no idea what Griffin will do.
I know exactly what Griffin will do, and that's why I'm canonizing bombs.
We've already made guns, magnets. Please give me more. Give the artificer more real world shit to pull off of.
Harper's going to turn Ignis into a tank.
What do you think I've been trying to do this whole time, Justin?
Go from Torkoal to Blastoise.
My God. Do we need to give you any explanation on our characters, or do you want to just go into this cold?
I'm good.
All right.
Cool.
I mean, I will always allow someone to tell me about their character. I learned very quickly just, how many votes that gets you. So.
Oh, God, it's so true.
Which tells you something about the community I live in. So.
That's so true.
Leeman, I have a question for you from my wife, because my wife is a ardent follower of your wife and her TikTok.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and I also enjoy her TikTok for what that's worth.
That would be Nerdy Priest on TikTok.
Yes. She saw a TikTok from one the two of you were recently at Disney, and her question is, how did you not get heat stroke wearing a goddamn suit coat at Disney all day?
Tweed breathes.
You know what? Asked and answered. Asked and answered.
The real truth is that I am a pallid fishman, and I learned at a very young age that it's far better to just cover up my repellent flammable skin and just deal with a few extra layers. And tweed's fine. And a jacket gives you pockets for all sorts of fun things. I've worn tweed coats around the muggy South. I've worn them in parts of Africa. I've learned to live with them. They are a part of me. We are Tweed. We are one.
We are Tweed.
When I say Tweed breathes, I mean it breathes.
No. You see, this is how I'm going to rewrite the game.
There you go. Okay. Instead of the Swarm, it's the Tweed.
We need a Warlock subclass Pact of the Tweed.
Having recently just done a show, some Jane Austen in the park for a month, wearing wool pants and vests and coats in 90-degree humid heat, I applaud you.
I mean, it's one thing when it's a choice. It's another thing when it's, required. So
True.
Yeah, Griffin was just in a production of Sense and Sensibility down in Columbus.
Yes. It was a grand old time. Playing one Sir John Middleton.
Well done.
Very good to meet you, sir. He was a delight.
I hadn't heard that yet. That's great.
Oh, that's not his character voice here? I just assume.
No, it was... Someone did ask me, though, how I was able to run a voice that was that gruff for such a long period of time, and I said years of practice playing my other D&D character, because that was Mordecai for 5 years, basically.
Yeah.
Not as boisterous, but certainly the same level of gravel.
Do we need to actually introduce Leeman? Do we have a paragraph written? Does it come with his writer? I want to make sure we're checking all the boxes.
Do you have the elevator pitch of you that you would like to give real quick?
We're talking about me or talking about my character?
Talk about you. We'll get to your character in a minute.
Sure. I'm Leeman Kessler. Hello. Folks might know me from TikTok as Mayor Lovecraft. You might know me for my decade-long stint as HP Lovecraft over at Ask Lovecraft on YouTube. You may know me because I'm a mayor of a small town in rural Ohio, or perhaps the fact that the McElroy brothers once used my whole goddamn name in the Adventure Zone. Those
sure did.
All my various claims to fame. And now I'm here and excited
one of
to
those
play.
is how I knew you for sure.
Yeah. the first time I think it was brought up when we were talking about like guests to have on this, I did not know of your other accolades, and I just heard the name Leeman Kessler, and I was like, the Adventure Zone guy? The guy who was the NPC who was named after a guy in real life, and that NPC's entire function was just being the dead guy
just
in
being
the murder
dead.
arc?
That's right. Absolutely.
And I'm just very into small town Ohio politics.
Well, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of it was that I became a fan of Mayor Lovecraft on TikTok because it's so cool, and it's, small town Ohio. There's not a lot of representation for that. It's great. And then the day that it was like, oh, that's like Leeman Kessler, like that's Leeman Kessler, the name you've been hearing for a decade. Oh, I guess that works out nicely.
Yeah, I was such a huge my brother and me fan that when they started Adventure Zone, like I remember when Adventure Zone was just like a one-off, donor only episode. And, when they're like, oh, maybe we'll do this a bit more regularly. They're like, hey, tweet about the show and maybe we'll put your name or your username. And I was like, oh, okay, hey, go listen to Adventure Zone. And then forgot about it. And then I was a dead guy and now I'm in a graphic novel and it's pretty cool.
You are in a graphic novel.
You're in a graphic novel. Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Adventure Zone was my D&D methadone for a little while because I frequently forget, but I did live in Northern Virginia for about 2 years.
Oh, sure.
And I did not have a D&D group down there and was working a job that did not let me have time to have a social schedule.
Right.
My escape was sneaking into the back room and listening to Taz on my lunch breaks, and then eventually listening to, Nerd Poker with Brian Posehn and friends, at least through the first season.
I forgot about that point in time when you lived in Virginia.
This is true.
I frequently, embarrassingly do a lot. It doesn't help. Like, I moved down there and then I moved out to New York first. I was out there for a bit. Then I moved down there and then I moved right back to the city that I was originally living in and told, in one of my most proud moments, told no one I was coming back. I just showed up at the bar one day where my fantasy league was having a drink and watching the game. And they're like, oh, Chase, what are you doing here? I was like, I live here now. I'm back. For real.
That's a power move.
It's a good move.
I've always been here.
Honestly, vibes.
Yeah. It's the reverse of the Irish goodbye.
It's the Irish hello. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have these things. They're called dice. How do we feel about rolling them?
Never heard of her.
Sounds fake, but okay.
Okay.
The journey through the Midwood is blissfully quiet compared to your last venture out. While it is still a few days of venturing through fairly dense forest, the heightened activity from the Outriders has made the trip fairly straightforward. Your final approach is marred, not by bandits, but rain. Overnight, a storm kicked up, and upon setting out for the final push, the three of you are soaked to the bone. Breaking the tree line is a mixed bag. On one hand, you are delighted to see that the Viridian Outriders have established a respectable base camp in a fairly short period of time. Tents in various sizes and colors dot the valley, with a massive one covering the pit below. On the other hand, the rain is way worse. Lightning arcs across the sky as an autumn storm begins to rage in the heavens. You find yourselves in the clear primary tent, created from a Viridian canvas that matches your sashes. A woman turns on a heel and looks at the three of you. Tall, dark hair, bespectacled, and berobed. She looks at you, then glances at her ledger. Ah, good. Styles, Cronin, Talk?
Yes.
Reporting for duty?
Excellent. My name is Alexei Tate. I am the Crown-appointed researcher from the Delaney University of the Arcane.
Fantastic. You're here. Right. Do you have answers?
No, I'm still here, aren't I?
I hoped you would bring some answers.
I'm here. I'm here to find answers, along with you.
That works too.
And you have been informed that you will be working with another associate, correct?
I believe so, yeah. A brother...
Lobizon.
That's the one, yeah.
And at that point, a figure walks in from a neighboring connected tent. Leeman, why don't you go ahead and describe Brother Lobizon?
Sure. So Brother Lobizon is gnomely, so sort of diminutive, and it's got the sort of the Chester A. Arthur Burns. But everything about him is very just sort of neat, put together, not fussy, but fastidious, and just, hard to kind of get a full bead on. There's no, you see there's some weapons, so, he's come armed, but not like overly bedecked. Nothing that seems, particularly arcane, or, you don't see like, thieves' tools jangling or anything. He just seems proficient and tidy and sort of politely smiling and trying to be sort of inobtrusive.
Truly the opposite of this halfling that is decked to the nines with every possible piece of equipment and weaponry you could possibly want for in an adventure.
Actually, yeah, let's go around and have you all describe your characters. We haven't done a refresh on that in a second. So, Griffin, go ahead and give us a more in-depth description of Harper.
Yeah, Harper is a halfling artificer, most notably accompanied by her steel defender, a iron tortoise, who frequently has little bits of smoke that exhales out of his nose. His name is Ignis. Harper is about just north of 3 feet tall. Currently is armored in a fresh, shiny new breastplate that she just finished work on yesterday. Her weapon of choice is this weird, long, sort of like crescent-shaped spear blade on the end of she refers to it as her broad spear. Sort of strawberry blonde hair back in like some like a tight bun in the back of her head, and then has like a bandolier across the chest and around her waist of smith's tools, tinker tools, just variety of instrumentation that she might need for any sort of mending, repairs, shenaniganry, etc.
Excellent. Justin, why don't you go ahead and give us a description of Aroben?
Yeah, Aroben is a fallen Azimar male. He is around 6 feet tall, very young, but his face looks very tired and worn. Sunken eyes, kind of standoffish expression, medium to long dark hair. He's wearing worn clothes, ready for battle. You don't see a weapon on him currently. And he's also wearing a cape and some really cool Joe Biden shades.
It is raining out, my guy.
What's your point?
Okay. I guess at this point, Harper would have some sort of sunglasses, considering as she now believes them to be the new part of like Outrider like uniform. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, you have to look badass at all times.
Yeah.
How will anyone take us seriously if we don't look badass at all times?
Ryan, go ahead and give us a read on Cecil.
Cecil Styles is a human, appears to be in their 50s or so, silver hair swept to the side, short but manageable. Gives off a very professory vibe from the long sleeve button up to the sensible trousers. He looks like a professor who's been drafted into wet work.
They're the sensible trousers, Gromit.
And he has a couple of scrolls tucked in different places across the belt. He's got a wand sheath strapped to his right forearm, and they have a long black trench coat that has the collar popped up to keep the rain off. Their shades of choice are the John Wick half shades pushed all the way down the nose.
Oh, I forgot to mention the most important part of Aroben. He has a necklace that has a ruby red amulet at the end of it.
Yes, that is extremely important. Yes.
My dude, I thought you were going up for like that stick.
Oh, the stick. Yeah, he also has a stick that's shaped like a cobra attached to his belt.
There is that.
There is that.
All right. So, Brother Lobizon, this is who you see as you walk into the room, hearing your name being mentioned by Alexei. You've probably been here for about a day or so. You know that you were anticipating this crew to get here sometime today, so they're right on time. You haven't been given the full download on what to expect as of yet. You were just asked to kind of, sit tight, rest up. You'll be doing plenty of work here shortly.
Praise the eminent, someone more my high. It's nice to meet you. I'm Harper.
It's my pleasure. I'm Brother Lobizon, and yes, I'm happy to be among you of all shapes and sizes. Yes.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping our associate would be someone more classified as muscle, but guess that didn't happen.
Yes, I suppose I'm a bit compact as far as that is concerned, but I've been known to hold my own, so I hope I won't get into too much trouble for you.
Yeah, size isn't everything, Aroben.
Cecil comes over. Lobizon, is that Lobizon? What are you doing here? Comes over, reaches down, shakes your hand.
It's paid back in kind. I have come on to with the Outriders to assist in the exploration of this interesting.
Delightful. Oh yes, we need all the help we could get.
Brother Lobizon, you actually have met Cecil a handful of times. They are the owner of the Steeping Scrolls, the titular Cecils of Steeping Scrolls. You've probably met a handful of times going in and out of the city and whatnot. Also very good friends with Seeker Meredith. You've also probably at the very least seen Harper a handful of times as well. You know that Meredith took Harper under her wing right around the time that Harper joined up with the Outriders.
So I think Cecil, if you pay attention to your sort of clientele, the vibe that Lobizon gives off is sort of woodland hermit, possibly sort of a merchant of some sort or freeholder, not always in that town, but when in town, sort of active, bustling about, seeing folks and watering friendships and things like that.
Would I know Lobizon to be capable fighter, or
you would never have seen Lobizon in any kind of action
okay
a scenario, unless I don't know did the town get beset by something where all were called upon to?
Not any time recently. I would say that that Brother Lobizon lives out like you said, like out in the woods there, and that is not always the safest place to be.
Well, anyone who can take care of themselves in the woods all by themselves for that long, like you have, you're probably going to come in handy here because, I can't warn you for anything because we don't know what's coming. You can see well, though, right?
Oh, yes.
That will be very useful. Very, very useful. It's dark down there. We found an unknown ancient civilization buried away underground. Quite large. Completely unknown, can't find any records of it in the books, and it's ours, kind of, because Outriders rights and all that, but we have no idea about many things.
To that point, please take some time to dry off. One moment. Rex, and she flips her hand and summoned from the ether, this small sphinx cat appears, looks up at her, and she looks down at it and is like, please show them to bunkhouse B, I do believe is empty. Take some time, dry off, do whatever preparations you need for your exploration. I will give you it'll be easier to show you. But please, go, take your time. I will meet you in the center in about half an hour or so.
Very well.
And this weird spectral sphinx cat hops off the table and walks towards one of these connected tent hallways and looks over its shoulder, expecting you to follow.
So we follow the cat?
Completely normal.
New lore. Ignis does not like cats. Ignis does not like cats, I've decided. Something, I didn't program that into him at all, but he's just like, ah. It's like when an elephant sees a mouse. It's just like, holy shit. Ignis, calm down, buddy. It's okay, it's okay. I soothe him.
Rex, as he has been named, leads you down a interconnected tent hallway to a small bunk room that has 5 beds, all separated with not the nicest, but certainly thoroughly functional privacy screens. So you are able to dry off and get yourself put together for exploration rather than traversal if any changes need to be made.
No, Lobizon sort of takes things out and dries off, wet bowstrings and things like that. Everything is sort of arrayed nicely on the bed and sort of, very, very delicately sort of handled. Not sort of obsessive, not just kind of, gun nut, assembling everything and getting Bertha ready for going out. But there's an attention to detail, sort of seeing if anything is missing and things like that.
Absolutely.
And in so doing, you sort of see, there's a pretty proficient equipment both for traveling for a period of time, and for delving in the deep. Good solid boots, things like that.
Yes.
Does everyone have rope?
Literally what I was gonna do. Yep, I got my set. I got a hammer. I got all the climbing gear sorted out. Hey, do we think we're gonna get separated at all?
Given our track record, yes.
Do we want me to fire up the shell phones?
That might be useful.
Could be.
All right.
What is a shell phone?
It is what you think it is.
You see Harper kind of comes back around from her little privacy area. On Ignis, on the tortoise, goes to one side and lifts the shell as if it were like lifting the back of a hatchback. And starts rummaging around inside and pulls out two maybe palm-sized gunmetal gray little tortoise shells. And like palm-sized for like a halfling-sized hand as well. They're pretty tiny. And holds them up dramatically over Ignis's shell and says, "These are shell phones."
Those look very nice.
I will hand one to you, Lobizon. And I was like, just hold it up to your ear.
I hold it to my ear.
And then when I whisper, when I talk into this side, you can hear me, my voice, no matter how far apart we are.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah.
That really is. Did you make these?
I did make these, yeah.
That's just remarkable.
Stop. Really, stop. It's nothing. It's just a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of imagination, Anyway, I think that, I can have my spear all set and then, got the shell phones just in case, I think that'd be helpful.
I think it could. Can't hurt. Who knows what we'll find down there. I take, out all of my books and lay them all out on the bed and start doing that magical thing where you wave your wand back and forth and the books open and close to dry them out. They're just kind of all opening and closing. We get a slight breeze from it. It's great. Set out the inks. Careful with the blue one. And Cecil's got some exploration stuff as well, but is mostly concerned about the rope and is very specifically doubling it back on itself, tying off the end already. So it's all ready to go. And then when it's done, actually takes the rope and just wraps it around himself and ties it off. One end to each end of the belt. Ready to go.
Aroben takes off his pack and sets it down, but he doesn't take anything out. He knows what he brought. And then he poofs his sword in his hand and sort of swings it around a couple times. And then puts his rucksack back on.
You all look very proficient. You must have done many delves like this before.
Just the one, actually.
Really, just the one delve, yeah.
Yes. So Stuart Bailey found this place completely on accident, and then we lost him. So then we had to go find Stuart, and the three of us went delving a bit, and then we did find the Stuart at one point and got his magical artifact and all that and got that out.
Cecil,
that's really the only
Steward.
delve. Yes, the Steward.
Yeah. It's his title.
Stuart Bailey, yes.
Now I'm confused.
Anyway, we've only made this delve once, and there is absolutely nothing down here except for the terrifying shape-shifting monsters that want to suck your soul and are strangely resistant to different energies and magics, and we've taken to calling them the approximations. And I, Cecil, explain this, but would like to throw the ball to Chase to explain what the approximations are.
We'll get there.
I remember that they're resistant to force damage.
Sure are.
They are.
That's about it.
Well, there's no Jedi on this team, so we're fine.
Oh, sick.
Not a Jedi. Got it.
I guess it's worth asking if we're going to be working together. Brother, do you prefer being referred to as like just as brother or full title? And
Whatever's easiest for you. I genuinely have no preference.
All right. I guess what's your skill set? What makes you what can we rely on with you?
Certainly, I have a great deal of experience being out in the wild, being away from civilization and things like that. I can hold my own as I tested. I'm also very good with creatures that should not be.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure these things should not be.
100%, yes.
And that is largely what drew my attention. I'm something of I'm a student of patterns, a student of how the universe is shaped and functions.
You're talking my language. I love a good pattern.
And particularly when I find things that don't fit that pattern, I work very hard to study and see if they can be reconciled with the pattern as a whole, and if they cannot, removing them.
Do you encounter a lot of beings that should not be? And how do you even decide what should and shouldn't be?
Well, I trust the patterns. I trust in the web that interconnects all things. I am guided by my knowledge, by my skill, and I have indeed come across a great deal of these aberrations.
Sometimes you could think that something shouldn't be. It's just different. That doesn't mean it's wrong.
Well, that's what the reconciliation purpose is for, to make sure that something is not merely misunderstood or a part of the pattern that has been occluded.
Harper is enthralled. Just like, yes.
That's a very good answer, Aroben. Do you have another repost for that?
No.
Something to think about.
I think all good points, Aroben. I think we can all be on the same page about the approximations, though.
Yeah.
Yes,
those things should not be.
Absolutely should not be.
The more you've now spent time with Lobizon, you begin to pick up that Lobizon seems to be quite sort of well-mannered and polite. But as you talk to him, it begins to sort of dawn on you that as he's talking to you, he doesn't seem to really be looking at you directly. Not in a sort of warm sort of way. His gaze seems to go sort of past you or even through you. Again, nothing untoward, but there is something slightly off.
Harper's the same way about making eye contact, but she just has ADHD. It's like, yes, I love this guy. This guy's great.
As you all finish drying off and preparing, Rex does find their way back to the door and gives a weird and oddly way too echoey.
Thank you, Rex. Yes, we'll be right there. Do we have a few moments, or are we going immediately? Perfect. Yes, thank you.
Do you
Cecil?
speak cat?
Absolutely, I do.
We spent that whole time in that theme park with those cats, and you didn't say anything?
Those weren't cats. This is clearly This is clearly a real cat. As he gestures to the spectral creature.
Well, you could have tried speaking cat. It might not have worked, but it might have.
I don't speak it. I just understand it.
It's a Chewbacca situation.
I'm not blessed with that particular gift. And Cecil turns and pulls out a couple of bags of tea and to-go kettle and starts taking it all into the main space. And we're going to have tea while we talk as we plan this together. Chase, has it been long enough?
No.
Okay.
You just Sweeney Todded the guy. You can't have more.
I didn't know what the time jump was.
A couple of days. You left the day after. You left like 2 or 3 days after.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to assume by Sweeney Todded the guy, you mean enjoyed his musical performance like Josh Groban.
Yeah, that.
Something like that.
It is certainly adjacent to that situation.
Attend the tale of Cecil Todd.
Anybody else have anything they want to do before following this odd cat?
No, I got my spells prepped and everything, and we're good to go.
Excellent. You follow Rex into the largest central dome of this tent complex. In this kind of area, there is a pit that leads down probably about 30 feet. It is a substantial drop. However, for the original three, you see that a lot of work has been done. There are ladders, for one, leading down into the pit, which
now that's what I'm talking about.
And in addition, there is a small, like, hand-powered freight elevator.
There we go.
So Ignis does not have to bodily jump into this pit.
So we've built up the tent structure like on top and over the opening to kind of occlude it and hide it. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is a full, archaeological dig situation where they have put as much protection around the area as possible. While you were all in the seat, taking care of business up there, Seeker Meredith was not sitting on her laurels back here. And as you're looking around, actually go ahead and everybody can give me a either perception or insight check and tell me what you roll.
Can I make one for Ignis?
No, I don't think Ignis can get this one.
Okay.
That's a 15.
Excellent. Was that insight or perception?
That was it. Perception.
Okay.
14 perception.
Okay.
16 perception.
19 insight.
Excellent. So for all of my perception folks, what you're picking up is that this went up quickly, but also fairly recently. You don't feel like anybody has been here for longer than a week, maybe a week and a half tops. You're seeing, where the tents are kind of staked in. It looks like the plant life there is still alive, but it is in the process of fading. So it looks like, the area around here is beginning to not get the sunlight that it needs because there's tents all over the place, but it hasn't gone quite yet. With a 19 insight, Cecil, what you're noticing is that there's people from a lot of different backgrounds here. Not even necessarily local. Actually, give me a history check. Real quick.
Just the dirtiest 20.
The Delaney University of the Arcane, that is an international organization. There is a small branch of it in the seat, but different parts of the world that is a respected institution.
Sure.
So if they have somebody from the university here, it means that somebody in your background, whether it is from the Outriders or the Crown itself, probably put down some capital and money to get one of their people here.
So as Cecil's looking around, they're able to put together that, hey, maybe our good buddy came through with some of this money. And starts to kind of put things together. How many people would you say are here total?
You're probably looking at about 15, 20 total, counting your crew, probably about 25.
Okay, so like in a clear divide, people here are all here for a very specific purpose. They're either, they're researchers or they're delvers or they're the muscle or the security.
Correct. And it is a lot more research than muscle.
How many are actually Outriders?
About half.
Okay.
And as you approach the pit, Alexei looks at you all. Excellent. Very good. Please come with me. Your companion may take the elevator. Very good, Rex. Thank you. And she snaps her fingers. The cat seems to scintillate away, but it's not like a poof. it is like squares of it seem to like vanish off of it and disappear.
Trons.
I was going to say a polygon, so Trons is good.
It defragged.
Yep, exactly.
Wait.
I don't think cats are supposed to do that.
It is my familiar. Of course it is. She descends.
I just need to have this moment between Ryan and
I'm answering no questions.
I know you're not Chase. I didn't say you. I said Ryan and I.
I know what to say. Oh, no. Oh, this is a very, very bad thing, but I love it.
Or a great thing.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
Chase, how much time has passed?
No, he said he will answer no questions.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Griff, how much time's passed?
God, like 50 years?
I don't know.
You all descend into the pit.
Oh, boy.
I take the elevator with Ignis.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Leeman, at this point, you see on the tortoise, there is like a divot cut out of the shell on top that Harper sits in, like the gunner seat on a tank. And also the tortoise around his head has been affixed, like a headband around the top of his head, where there is a like kind of crystal ball. And as we're descending, Harper leans down and says, "Headlights," and the orb lights up, emitting the light cantrip.
Using every bit of the artificer.
To be fair, I bought that, so
That's true. That's true.
I bought that one.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah. And you did install it.
I did install it. I did fashion the headband.
Yeah, you did.
It's going to kill the resale value, guy.
It's a custom job. It'll be fine.
Pimp my tortoise.
Yo, dog.
Oh, no. Very good.
You all descend into the pit as you rejoin Alexis. She's like, so, for the three of you, there have been some things that have changed since the last time you have been here.
Oh.
And she takes you into the room. I say the room, the cavern that you are all familiar with, or rather the three of you are familiar with. Mm-hmm. And you see stretching out before you, it is very much the same. It is a massive cavern that this city that seems to be made of this odd polygonal material is spiring up in. Green light emanates from these crystals, warmly humming down onto the city below. However, the difference is immediately evident. You can see that there is a centermost tower of this city, and from the top of it, there is a dome of brilliant white light.
Oh, that's new.
Arcing away from it to 6 different spots within the city are other motes of light that seem to dome the tops of other buildings.
Alexi, did you turn that on or did you build it? I don't know which way I want you to answer.
More the first one, but not really. So here is what happened. When our crew came here, it was much as it was when you were here. No one had been down here to mess with things. Your Outriders did a good job of maintaining a secure perimeter before we were able to. However, what we did end up finding, though, was that once our first away team started their way into the city, as soon as they put boots down onto that bottommost floor, that, and she gestures over her shoulder in frustration, that's all started.
It all turned on and it's just on now?
It's just on now.
Have you, I assume you've investigated.
We have tried to, however, we have met with resistance.
This would be the approximations?
Yes, those.
Delightful.
So what we have done is we have most way cleared to that point right there, and she points to the closest dome of light to you.
Okay.
What we would like you to do is go to that building, investigate it, and see if you can either turn the light off or figure out what it is. I imagine the truth to whatever this place is going to be in that tower, in the middle.
Yes, and if we figured out how to do this once, we can do it 5 more times, yes.
That's the plan.
It seems like it's some kind of security system or something.
We think the exact same thing, Mr. Cronin.
Is it just light?
There is a magical property to it. We cannot pass through those barriers. We have sent a few folk who know how to fly up to them, and it is a hard wall, at least from this angle. We are hopeful that if you can get in from inside the building, it will be a little bit easier to pass through. This is where we are standing.
Right, and that's when you have run into the approximations. Have they been traveling in packs, groups? Have they been...
Mostly groups. Within the city, those we have found tend to be traveling individually. However, once we get into buildings, that is when they group up and when we are less capable of handling things.
That's fair. Do they seem to be guarding anything, or roving around? Are the patterns, or are they just, if something is messed with, they show up?
It is hard to say. Definitely when we have tried to access buildings, that is when they tend to show up in larger numbers. However, we have not been able to detect a specific rhyme or reason for their actions as of yet.
Right. Delightful. Have we killed any more?
Oh, several.
And the bodies?
Disintegrate. Just like the ones you initially encountered.
Yeah, that checks out.
Disintegrate into what?
Kinda nothing.
You will encounter one soon enough, I'm sure, but they are made of this amorphous goo, for lack of a better word. Upon their expiration, the goo loses any kind of semblance, and eventually it very, very quickly evaporates. I know Miss Tuck here was able to collect some of it, and we've been able to gather small samples as well to continue to do our own research.
Does the, have you run any more tests on this magical energy? Is it anything that we can recognize, or does it feel more like the approximations?
Arcane magic. Something old, but not ancient.
Arcane.
A solid barrier spell. Something... variations on magics we know, but this is something new and different.
Yes. I think I have just one more question there. Does it seem like the approximations have any sort of control or agency over that, or they just are here, and then there's also things happening in the city, and we don't know if they're related?
That one.
Perfect. A mystery.
I would hazard a guess that they are related, but how they are related, that is the question.
That's why we're here, I guess, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna find out one way or the other.
Excellent. Well,
honestly, this time around, I'm a little excited. I like a good puzzle.
Let's just hope it's a good puzzle.
Excellent.
Yeah, not like one of those bad jigsaw puzzles where like some of the pieces get soggy and they like kind of lose shape and they can't really quite fit together anymore. That's a bad puzzle.
That's a bad puzzle. Have you ever made your own puzzle?
I don't think I have. I'm going to add that to the to-do list.
I've certainly taken things apart, but I seldom put them back together again after.
Cecil just kind of gives Lobizon like a little look like, that's weird. I respect that.
Harper's -1 insight is like always interpreting the weird shit Lobizon says into like the most positive spin. It's just like, yeah, I love taking things apart and seeing how they work.
Did Harper check out the spinner before we left?
Oh shit, we talked about that.
I will say that you have the spinner. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Aroben, you say that, and Harper goes, "Oh yeah, hang on," and pulls out a little silver top, about yay big, I would say. Yeah, no, Bailey was a little remiss to part with it, but I made a good enough argument.
Well, Bailey's not here, so
exactly,
and we are.
So if we ever need to like, effectively, what this is, Lobizon, is like makes a little anti-magic field. As long as it's spinning, and the approximation seems to really not like it. So, might be good if we need to, like, cover our backs or block off a doorway or something like that. Or run, or hell, maybe it'll get us through the light or something like that. And then, Chase, if I believe I have this right, just because I don't have this part written down, I'm assuming it's like an action to like fire up the spinner.
Yeah, it is an action. It is a dexterity or sleight of hand if you happen to have that.
Oh, it's a skill check?
It's a skill check.
Nice.
It's a magic top. I'm not letting you get away with that without checking.
I had written down from before, it has 3 charges, and it's a 30-foot radius.
If you would like to use the very bad Inception top, you must spin it well.
Oh, man, that makes this thing a bit more of a loaded gun than I thought it was.
Sure is. Sure is.
That's okay. My dex is a +2. That's okay.
It's not bad. It's only a 12.
That's a 50-50 shot,
We can have
baby.
Ignis stop it, but he can't start it for us.
I'm not putting Ignis anywhere inside that field. He's a magical construct. He will turn into scrap metal.
Wait. Oh, you stopped it last time by throwing something at it.
I used my sling. I was able to knock it off of balance using my sling. Which that was also a hard shot.
Yeah.
That was like an AC 18 shot or something like that.
Only takes one hit, but you gotta hit it.
Yeah.
So this thing is dangerous, is what I'm saying. This is a break in case of emergency kind of top.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Lobizon, is this going to affect your skill set?
I certainly have some abilities of my heritage and whatnot, but as for my prime skills, no, spin away.
Spin away.
Woohoo!
I just hope there's not another one of those nightmare balls in there.
Excuse me, what's a nightmare ball?
It's something that makes you see your worst nightmare. I can only assume it wasn't fun.
Fascinating.
And if I'm remembering properly, we encountered a barrier before, and the only way to get through that barrier was to touch the so-called nightmare orb.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And then the barrier faded for that individual.
Chase, can I make that Arcana check?
Which one?
Hey, are we about to have to do what I think we might be about to have to do?
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I love this ongoing fucking bananagrams game between Chase and Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan always says cryptic things, which Chase seems to understand, but we don't.
This time, I think I only, kind of understand what he's getting at.
Cut to Harvey Birdman. Did you get that thing I sent you?
23.
Oh, dip.
The white barrier is a different kind of barrier.
It's different barriers, similar magics.
Yes.
different.
Similar magic. Variation on a theme.
Okay.
Not the theme.
But Cecil can put enough together to figure out that it's same civilization, different magic, different purposes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different department.
Different department.
Yeah, the white light is not that kind of orb.
Okay.
That is not to say there are not orbs in your future.
I'll put an orb in your future.
Man, fucking try.
I cast dancing lights.
Oh, shit.
Orbs everywhere. Eat shit, Greenlee. All right. Let's delve, shall we?
Thank you for joining us here on Another Path. You can find our website and merch store at anotherpathpodcast.com, on Twitter at anotherpathpod, and our network at ghostlightmedia.net. You can support our efforts by donating at patreon.com/ghostlightmedia or by giving us a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher will let you. You can find me on Twitter at TQLoudly, Griffin at GriffCold, and Ryan at RyanRoll20. You can find Justin on TikTok at JustJustinMichael, myself at TQLoudly, and our guest, Leeman, over at Mayor Lovecraft. You can also find Leeman and his wide variety of other projects over at www.leemankessler.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, and until then, remember to not only ask questions, but ask the right ones. This has been a Ghostlight Media production.